The world fades into stillness as you begin to drift. The journey of human civilizations. Take a slow, gentle breath in and let it go. Feel the air leaving your body like a wave, sliding back into the sea. Let your shoulders fall, let your jaw soften, let every thought that still holds on to the noise of today slowly dissolve into quiet. You are safe here. You are still, and for a little while, there is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to go. The world outside fades, the lights, the motion, the weight of hours passing. What remains is the soft rhythm of your breath and the steady beat of your heart. It has carried you through so many days, so many stories. And now it carries you gently into the calm of night. Imagine yourself lying beneath a wide sky, the kind that stretches endlessly across the horizon. Above you, the stars glow softly, ancient and familiar. They've been watching over humanity for thousands of years. Silent witnesses to every kingdom, every song, every quiet dream. The air around you feels warm and calm. A light breeze brushes against your skin, whispering fragments of forgotten times. Somewhere far away, a single note of a flute drifts through the air. It doesn't call for attention. It simply exists, weaving gently between your thoughts. Each sound, each pause, settles into your heartbeat. It's the sound of stillness, of memories floating just below the surface. Allow your body to sink deeper into comfort. Feel your fingers loosen, your breath grow slower, smoother. Let your mind wander softly, like a candle flame flickering in an open window. No rush, no effort, only calm. In this stillness, stories begin to awaken, not stories of power or war or glory, but of quiet lives and delicate rituals, of people who once lived under the same sky centuries ago. They woke with the same dawn, they worked, they dreamed, they rested. They too searched for peace, not in battlefields, but in the rhythms of daily life. So tonight, as you drift between wakefulness and sleep, we will walk through the gentle corridors of history. We'll listen not to the shouts of conquest, but to the whispers of silk against stone, to footsteps on polished wood, to laughter echoing faintly through time. Close your eyes and let time open. Now, slowly, we begin our journey, one that drifts like a river across centuries. A journey that glides past empires and oceans, touching the pulse of civilizations long gone. Not a tale of kings or heroes, but of lives shaped by grace, art, and quiet endurance. Tonight, we will travel through 4 worlds, each breathing softly beneath the weight of history. First, we will walk through the forbidden city of ancient China, where mornings began with silk rustling and every gesture carried meaning. Then we will visit the theaters of Japan, where the art of kabuki unfolds in colors and motion, a dance of beauty frozen in time. Next, we'll stand beneath the sun of Spain, where the bullring became a stage for elegance and control, a choreography between strength and stillness. And finally, we'll rest among the rolling green fields of old Ireland, where homes welcomed every traveler with warmth and quiet hospitality. Each world holds a rhythm of movement, of breath, of human connection. Let us listen to that rhythm. Let us walk softly through the corridors of time and let history become a gentle lullaby that carries you deeper into sleep. Life of the imperial concubines within the forbidden city. morning and preparation. Take a slow, gentle breath in and let it go. Feel your body begin to soften. The air grows still around you, quiet and calm like the very first breath of dawn. Somewhere far away, the night folds itself away, and the world takes its first slow stretch toward morning. The darkness turns to silver, and the stars fade one by one. The sound of your breath becomes the rhythm of the waking world. Now imagine yourself within the walls of the forbidden city, an endless palace where time moves like a drifting cloud. The air is cool and faintly perfumed with sandalwood and rice powder. The corridors are wide, empty, and still. Outside, the first light slips through latticed windows, casting patterns of gold upon polished floors. Inside, silence reigns. The palace sleeps lightly, holding its secrets close. In a quiet chamber hidden behind silk curtains, a faint rustle begins. The morning is not loud here. It hums softly, almost tenderly. Gentle hands move through the air with purpose. The attendants, dressed in muted tones, glide from shadow to light. They open the drapes just enough for a thread of sunlight to touch the floor. The warmth of that light feels like a sigh brushing against skin that has not yet fully awakened. A figure stirs upon the bed, not startled but guided, as though waking were another ritual of the day. The concubine opens her eyes slowly, the world returning in soft focus. Around her, the room moves in silence. Her attendants bow slightly, then lift the first layers of fabric prepared for her. Every gesture is deliberate, every sound muted. A sleeve, brushing silk, the faint clink of jade hairpins, the whisper of fabric against skin. The morning here is never hurried. It unfolds like a dance without music, every motion choreographed by centuries of habit. The air carries the scent of clean linen, the cool of marble, the faint sweetness of tea, waiting somewhere in another room. A bowl of warm water is placed upon the table. Steam curls upward in delicate tendrils. She leans forward, her face reflected faintly in the rippling surface, a face serene, distant, untouched by sleep. The water glows with the color of dawn. Her maid lifts a comb of polished wood and begins to brush her hair. Each stroke is unbroken, long and slow. The strands fall like silk against her back. The sound, gentle, rhythmic, fills the stillness. It is not the sound of vanity, but of order, of balance, of quiet beauty kept alive by repetition. With every motion, the world outside the palace fades further away. The concubine sits perfectly straight. Her posture is an art form. Her eyes, half-lidded, seem to drift somewhere between thought and stillness. She does not speak. There is nothing to say. In this place, silence is a language of its own, one learned through time, through observation, through the delicate understanding of how stillness keeps one safe. Layer by layer, her garments are placed upon her. The colors are soft, muted jade, pale gold, ivory white. The fabrics shimmer faintly, catching the morning light like water reflecting the sky. Every ribbon tied, every fold adjusted, is a small ceremony in itself. It is not just dressing, it is preparation for being seen, for existing in a world where perfection is protection. When all is done, she rises. The movement is slow, fluid, precise, as if gravity itself has agreed to wait for her. Her sleeves fall gracefully at her sides, and for a moment she stands bathed in the tender glow of morning. The room holds its breath. Outside, the city is still quiet. Beyond the palace walls, the world begins to stir. The faint cry of merchants, the sweep of brooms, the distant call of morning birds. But here, inside the forbidden city, time moves differently. It flows like silk in water, smooth, continuous, without edges. The concubine takes her first step toward the new day, her reflection fading softly behind her. Every motion, every breath, every whisper in this world is part of a ritual of survival wrapped in elegance. Morning has begun, not with noise but with grace. Breakfast. Take a deep, slow breath in and release it gently. Let the air move through you like a calm river. Feel your shoulders sink a little lower, your eyelids grow a little heavier. The world outside is quiet now, and in your mind, the soft rhythm of morning begins to unfold. Imagine yourself within the forbidden city, vast, still, and bathed in the pale gold of early light. The marble floors are cool beneath silent feet, and the air carries the scent of tea leaves, steamed rice, and sandalwood. Somewhere deep within those walls, a table is being prepared, not hurriedly, but with a kind of sacred calm. The morning meal is not merely food, it is ceremony, it is rhythm, it is balance. In the still air you can almost hear it. The faint clink of porcelain bowls, the soft brush of silk sleeves, the whisper of footsteps gliding across polished stone. Nothing is loud here. Even time itself seems to move more slowly, as though it too bows to the unspoken rules of the court. The seats are arranged with precision, a geometry of rank and grace. No one speaks unless necessary. No one looks too long or too soon. Even the simple act of meeting another's gaze carries meaning. Each concubine takes her place in silence, lowering herself with poise and control. The faint rustle of fabric echoes through the hall, a delicate sound like wind moving through reeds. The attendants move in harmony, placing dishes in front of them one by one, steamed buns, bowls of congee, slices of pear glistening with dew. The aroma rises softly, warm and soothing, but no one lifts a hand until the signal is given. There is a grace in waiting, there is a peace in restraint. The emperor is not present, but his presence lingers, invisible yet undeniable. Every gesture, every word, every sip of tea happens in the shadow of that unseen gaze. To live here is to understand the art of quiet performance. Every motion is deliberate, each breath measured. Even silence must be graceful. The first taste of food is small, almost symbolic. A single bite, slow and careful. The flavors are delicate, jasmine, rice, a touch of sweetness that melts on the tongue and fades like mist. The concubines chew softly, eyes lowered, minds composed. Conversations flow like whispers, not loud enough to echo, not faint enough to be missed. A gentle nod here, a soft word there. Compliments are exchanged with the subtlety of a painter's brushstroke. No emotion shows on the surface, yet beneath it, the air hums with meaning. A glance can reveal loyalty or threat. A smile can conceal strategy or sorrow. Every woman at the table knows this silent language, a code written in looks and pauses. But this morning, everything is tranquil. The tea is poured, the steam rises in slow curls, floating toward the ceiling like prayer smoke. The warmth of the cup seeps through delicate fingers. The scent is calming, floral, almost hypnotic. No one hurries. The sound of sipping tea fills the space, soft, steady, rhythmic. Between breaths, there is serenity. Between gestures, there is grace. Each movement is so practiced, so precise, that it feels like time itself has forgotten how to rush. The morning becomes a slow unfolding, a living painting of stillness and form. Outside, the palace gardens begin to wake. The faint chirp of birds drifts in through open screens. Sunlight creeps across the table, touching porcelain, glinting off gold, warming the quiet faces of those seated. It feels less like eating and more like breathing, a shared ritual that binds them all to the rhythm of the court. The meal draws to its end, not with words, but with calm acknowledgement. A final sip of tea, the last wisp of steam fading into the morning light. The attendants step forward once more, clearing the dishes with soundless care. There is no applause, no conversation. Only a deep, collective exhale. The silent closing of a scene performed to perfection. The concubines rise in unison, their steps smooth and deliberate. The silk of their robes sways like slow water. The morning has only just begun, yet it already feels eternal. As the last echoes of movement fade, only stillness remains. A perfect pause between breath and day, the ritual of being seen. Take a deep, quiet breath in and let it flow out softly, like the wind moving across calm water. The light of morning begins to unfold across the forbidden city, gentle and golden, touching rooftops, courtyards, and long corridors still heavy with silence. The air carries the faint scent of sandalwood and dew, the sweetness of early blossoms hanging on the edge of day. After breakfast, the concubines step into the palace gardens, their movements slow, careful, and poised. They do not rush. They never rush. Each step is placed with precision, each breath timed with the rhythm of stillness that rules the palace. The world here moves differently, softer, slower, as if time itself has decided to bow. The garden is vast, filled with quiet pools and trimmed trees that cast long shadows across the stone paths. Sunlight filters through the leaves, scattering patterns upon silk robes. The air hums with peace. The only sounds are the faint rustle of fabric and the delicate chime of jewelry brushing together. It is as though the morning itself is holding its breath to watch them pass. Their robes shimmer under the soft light, shades of ivory, rose, and pale jade blending with the gold of the sun. The silk moves like water, flowing in slow ripples as they walk. Every detail, from the angle of the head to the tilt of the wrist, is part of an unspoken language, a quiet art that must never be forgotten. This walk is not meant for pleasure. It is not a stroll to admire flowers or feel the wind. It is a ritual, an act of quiet existence. In this world, to be seen is to survive. Every morning they must appear, graceful, calm and present, so that their image lingers in the minds of those who hold power. The unseen are forgotten, and in the forbidden city, to be forgotten is to fade away completely. The concubines walk in pairs, sometimes alone, their eyes lowered, their faces serene. A smile here, a soft nod there, gestures so subtle they barely move the air, yet each carries weight. These are not conversations, but performances, and rehearsed, refined, perfected. Behind every gentle glance lies 1,000 unspoken thoughts, but none of them reach the surface. The attendants follow from a respectful distance, holding parasols that shade their mistresses from the sun. The silk umbrellas shift gently with the breeze, glowing faintly like petals suspended in the air. From afar, the scene looks like a painting come to life, a slow-moving tapestry of grace and silence. Occasionally, a petal falls onto the stone path, caught under the hem of a robe, before being carried away again by the wind. It is a reminder that nothing in this place truly belongs to anyone, not the sunlight, not the whispers, not even the moment itself. The women move through the garden until they reach the edge of the pond. The water mirrors their reflections, faces soft, distant, framed by silk and gold. They pause for a breath, watching ripples form, then fade. The stillness feels eternal, but the moment passes quickly. The ritual is complete. When they turn to leave, the sun has risen higher, painting the walls in deeper shades of amber. The echoes of their footsteps fade into silence once more. Behind them, the garden returns to stillness. The sound of the breeze, the fragrance of flowers, and the soft memory of movement lingering like a sigh. The art of flattery and survival. Take a slow breath in and let it drift out like a whisper, fading into the night. Feel the weight of the day melt away from your shoulders. The air grows calm, soft, and easy. Your thoughts loosen, floating like petals on still water. The world around you quiets, and in that stillness, another world begins to form. The quiet, glimmering heart of the forbidden city. Here, words are not spoken freely. Every sentence is a step upon glass. Every sound carries meaning, and every silence, too, has its purpose. To live here is to understand the art of restraint, the delicate balance between what is said and what must never be said. The women of the court speak softly, as if their voices might stir the air too much. Each word is polished, weighed, and measured before it ever leaves their lips. Compliments are not gifts here, they are shields. Every smile is painted with precision, every glance rehearsed until it feels natural, effortless, perfect. To flatter is to survive. The right words at the right moment can open doors, smooth tempers, and shift the invisible lines of favor. The wrong ones can undo everything. That is why in this world, sincerity is dangerous, truth is unpredictable, and unpredictability has no place in a palace that thrives on control. They learn from a young age how to speak, how to pause, how to tilt their heads just so, how to let a compliment sound light and harmless, even when it carries the weight of ambition. The tone must be gentle, the expression calm, the body language humble yet composed. It is an art, and it is endless. Every conversation is a dance without music, a gesture here, a soft word there. The emperor's poem might be ordinary, yet they praise it as divine. The empress's gown might shimmer no more than the rest, yet they admire it as if it were woven from the stars. Each compliment floats like a petal upon the surface of still water, delicate, beautiful, and carefully placed to hide the ripples beneath. In the quiet corridors of the palace, flattery flows like a secret river, winding between chambers and courtyards. Some speak to please, some to survive, and some simply because silence is too heavy to bear. Yet even flattery must be subtle. Too much is seen as deceit, too little is seen as defiance. The perfect balance is the key to peace. A few among them become masters of this craft. Women whose every word feels like silk, whose every gesture carries grace. They never raise their voices, never reveal their hearts, but their influence moves quietly through the palace like incense smoke curling through air, unseen but everywhere. To live here is to speak in tones of harmony, to smile without revealing thought, to breathe without disturbing stillness. In this world, the truth is not the path to safety. Poise is. And so the palace continues to hum with quiet conversation, soft laughter, and words chosen not for honesty, but for beauty. The art of flattery is not deception here, it is survival, dressed in silk and sweetness. Each day, the concubines wake and step once more into that silent dance, where every smile hides a secret, and every word is another heartbeat in the rhythm of survival. Hobbies and gentle pursuits. Take a slow, deep breath in and let it slip out softly. Feel your chest rise and fall like waves on a quiet shore. Let your thoughts drift, light and unhurried. The air around you feels warmer now, softer, as if time itself has decided to move slower. The world begins to fade into calm, and in its place appears the still beauty of the forbidden city. Behind the silent walls, time stretches endlessly. The hours pass like silk unfolding, smooth, quiet, and without haste. For the women of the palace, each day carries the same rhythm. The soft murmur of attendants, the echo of footsteps, the sigh of wind brushing against carved screens. And in that unchanging stillness, they find small islands of peace, the simple joys they call their pastimes. They embroider, their fingers moving in patterns so delicate they seem like whispers made visible. The needle glides through silk, pulling threads of gold and crimson into shapes of birds and blossoms. Each stitch is measured, calm, deliberate. It is not the act of creation that matters, but the stillness that blooms between every motion. The soft rhythm of sewing becomes a kind of meditation, a way to steady the heart and quiet the noise of thought. Others take to the brush, dipping it into pools of black ink that glisten like moonlight caught in water. They write poetry in fine, flowing lines, verses not meant to be read aloud, but to be felt. Some paint small landscapes, soft mountains under mist, a single branch of plum in bloom. Each image holds a secret meaning, a memory, a longing, a reflection of a dream. Yet none of it is shown to the world. Art here is not for display, it is for survival. Some play the guqin, the ancient strings humming softly in the air. The notes rise and fall like breathing, smooth and distant, echoing through empty halls. The sound drifts beyond the room, curling into corridors, mingling with the wind. Those who pass may pause for a moment, not to listen, but to feel the calm that lingers. These quiet pastimes are not luxuries. They are lifelines, small rituals that give meaning to days otherwise wrapped in silence. In every stitch, every note, every stroke of the brush, there is a kind of prayer, not spoken but woven into being. They do not seek admiration or praise. The beauty they create belongs only to the moment, to the stillness that surrounds them. Sometimes, when the afternoon light fades and the first lanterns are lit, a few gather together. They speak softly, sharing verses or passing a fan painted with new designs. The conversation is light, unhurried. Laughter rises and falls like ripples on a pond, and for a brief while the palace feels almost alive, not with power, but with peace. As the night deepens, the tools are put away. The threads rest. The ink dries, the music fades, yet something remains. A lingering sense of calm, a softness that hums in the air long after the last sound has gone. Within the walls of the Forbidden City, where time moves in circles and days mirror each other, these quiet hobbies are more than pastimes. They are a way to stay awake inside stillness, to find beauty in repetition, and to keep the soul gently breathing beneath the weight of silence. Conversations and whispers. Take a long, slow breath in and let it drift out softly. Feel your shoulders release, your body loosen, your mind begin to quiet. The world outside fades to a soft blur, and in its place another world takes form, still golden and filled with echoes that never rise above a whisper. In the heart of the Forbidden City, silence rules like a patient king. Every corridor holds its own secrets, every shadow carries an untold story. Yet even in this world of order and grace, quiet does not mean absence. Beneath the calm, voices move like hidden rivers, gentle, fluid, and alive. Between the long red walls, faint murmurs ripple through the air. They float from chamber to chamber, carried on the breath of passing maids and the shuffle of silk shoes. The words are soft, barely more than the sound of air itself, but they spread, steady, unstoppable. Some are truths dressed in silk. Others are illusions stitched together with imagination, but all of them are alive and they move as surely as the wind itself. The concubines know these sounds well. They are the music of their days, the pulse of a life otherwise motionless. Each story begins somewhere small. A glance, a gesture, a sigh that lasted a moment too long. And then it grows. By the time it reaches another ear, it has already become something else, reshaped, repainted, reborn. In the afternoons, when the sun slants low and gold light filters through carved screens, a few women sit together in shaded courtyards. Their laughter is light, their smiles faint, their words dipped in honey. They speak not to confess, but to share in the rhythm of companionship, the safe exchange of half-truths and half-dreams. A passing comment here, a delicate question there, each phrase balanced carefully, like porcelain in trembling hands. The art of conversation in the palace is a quiet one. It is not about what is said, but how it is said. The tone, the timing, the pause before a smile. Every sentence carries weight, even when it pretends not to. The women learn to weave their words like silk threads, smooth, shimmering, impossible to catch. And then, as the day fades, those same threads of talk unwind and stretch through the palace once more. A single phrase becomes a whisper. A whisper becomes a story. By the time night falls, that story might circle back to the one who first spoke it, changed, softened, or sharpened in ways she'll never know. Still, no one ever admits to hearing or saying anything. When the servants bow, when the concubines pass each other in the hall, the air between them remains perfectly calm. They smile as if the world is made only of serenity, as if no rumors have ever existed here. Yet in truth, those soft murmurs are what keep the palace alive. They are the invisible heartbeat of a world built on stillness. Without them, the days would stretch endlessly, silent, shapeless, without motion. So the whispers continue, drifting through the halls like threads of smoke. No one sees where they begin, no one knows where they end. They move in circles, wrapping gently around the lives of those who speak and those who listen. And as the moon rises above the golden roofs, the forbidden city breathes again, through the soundless hum of its own secret stories. The chosen night. Take a slow, deep breath in, and let it drift away softly, like a cloud dissolving into twilight. The air around you grows still, warm and quiet. The day has ended, and the world begins to settle into the calm of night. The courtyards of the Forbidden City glow faintly beneath the moon, their rooftops shimmering like silk, touched by silver light. Somewhere within those endless halls, the sound of footsteps fades, and silence takes its place. As darkness deepens, names are whispered. They move softly through the air, carried by attendants from one chamber to another. No one speaks too loudly. No one needs to. Each name holds weight, not just privilege, but also uncertainty. To be chosen is an honor, but it is also a test, a delicate balance between grace and fear. The chosen one rises from her seat with quiet composure. Her attendants follow, careful and silent. The ritual begins, slow, deliberate, and precise. Warm water fills a basin carved from jade, steam rising like pale mist. The scent of lotus and sandalwood fills the room, wrapping the air in softness. She lowers herself into the water, the surface rippling with every breath. In this moment, she is both calm and restless. A figure shaped by duty, painted in stillness. When the bath ends, her hair is dried, perfumed, and combed until it gleams beneath the lantern light. Layers of silk robes are brought forth, pale gold, ivory, the color of moonlight. Each one drapes across her shoulders like a whisper. The attendants adjust the folds, tie the ribbons, smooth the fabric until not a single crease remains. Every gesture is rehearsed, every motion graceful. There is no hurry, no mistake, only the quiet rhythm of preparation. When all is ready, she sits in silence. The world around her fades to a gentle hum, the faint sound of fabric moving, the distant call of the night wind beyond the palace walls. Time stretches, soft and heavy. Outside, the moon climbs higher, steady and bright. Then, without words, she is guided toward the waiting doors. The night air touches her face, cool, scented with garden blossoms and the memory of rain. Beyond this moment lies the unknown, and yet everything feels calm. The night continues as it always has, slow, quiet, eternal. And as the palace sinks deeper into silence, the chosen night unfolds in perfect stillness, like a secret carried gently through the dark. The morning after. Take a deep breath in and let it go slowly. The air feels lighter now, gentle and warm, carrying the quiet rhythm of a new day. Beyond the stillness of night, morning begins to stir. The first threads of light slip through carved windows, spreading across the polished floors of the forbidden city. The world glows softly, calm and slow, as if waking from a dream. In one quiet chamber, the chosen woman opens her eyes. The echoes of the night have already faded, leaving only stillness behind. The scent of incense lingers faintly in the air, delicate and sweet. She sits up slowly, the silk sheet sliding across her skin like water. Around her, the attendants move carefully, their steps light, their voices no louder than breath. The morning routine begins again. Washing, dressing, arranging the hair, just so. The sunlight catches the curve of a jade pin, the shimmer of embroidered silk. Everything looks the same, yet everything feels slightly changed. The air hums with a quiet awareness. As she steps out into the hall, eyes follow her, subtle, observing, unreadable. There is admiration, envy, curiosity, all hidden beneath practiced smiles. For a moment, she stands at the center of the quiet storm of attention, glowing softly in the morning light. But soon, it passes. The looks fade, the whispers die. The palace returns to its calm, endless rhythm. The morning continues just like all the others. Servants sweep the courtyards. Birds sing above the tiled roofs. Tea is poured, papers are written. Silence fills the spaces between. The traces of the night, the warmth, the glances, the breath of memory, dissolve like mist under the rising sun. What remains is only stillness, the kind that stretches into forever. The quiet years. Take a slow breath in and let it go gently, like the sound of wind moving through tall grass. The air feels softer now, lighter and filled with calm. Time itself seems to slow, stretching into something quiet and kind. In the far corners of the forbidden city, the world has grown still. The laughter, the whispers, the footsteps that once filled the corridors have all faded into memory. The women who once glimmered beneath lantern light now live in quiet rooms, surrounded by gardens and stone. Their beauty, once the language of power, has softened into something gentler, something human. The mirrors no longer matter. The jewels rest untouched. Each day begins with the sound of distant birds and ends with the sigh of wind against the windows. Some spend their hours writing poetry, the brush gliding slowly across rice paper, words flowing like water. Others tend to the gardens, hands brushing against petals as fragile as their own memories. The flowers bloom and fade again, a quiet reflection of time's rhythm. They no longer seek to be seen, the world no longer watches. Yet there is peace in that invisibility. Without the weight of competition or favor, life becomes softer, easier. The days blend together in shades of gold and grey, a long, calm dusk that never quite turns to night. In the evenings, when the air cools and the last light drapes across the tiled roofs, some sit by the windows, watching the sky shift colors. Amber, rose, then blue. They do not speak of the past. They simply breathe it in like perfume carried by memory. Time flows gently here. Nothing is lost, only transformed. Beauty into stillness, longing into peace, and life into quiet endurance. Existence and legacy. Take a deep, slow breath in and let it drift out softly, like mist dissolving into morning light. Feel your shoulders loosen, your body grow lighter, your thoughts soften into calm. The air feels warm and quiet now, carrying only the sound of stillness. Time slows, and we drift into the final pages of a life once wrapped in silk and silence. In the vast halls of the Forbidden City, many names were once spoken. Some shone brightly for a time, glowing beneath lantern light, whispered through corridors in tones of envy or admiration. Others faded before they were even remembered, slipping quietly into the folds of history, unnoticed but not unlived. Their stories, like fragile threads of gold, remain woven into the fabric of time. Some were lucky, their names inked carefully into records, preserved on scrolls, sealed in boxes of red lacquer. Others survive only in fragments, in poems signed with no name, or in small gestures described in another's account. Each trace, no matter how faint, carries the same quiet message. I was here. A few wrote their own reflections, simple words left behind for no one in particular. In those pages we find neither grandeur nor complaint, only soft remembrance. Descriptions of gardens at dusk, of wind against silk curtains, of laughter that once echoed through stone halls. These writings do not demand to be celebrated, they only wish to exist, to breathe a little longer beyond the end of a life. Time has turned, emperors have come and gone, and yet their presence lingers, not loud, not visible, but constant. Their existence may have been brief, their power fleeting, but their quiet endurance has outlasted the walls that once confined them. In the stillness of memory, they are eternal, not for what they achieved, but simply because they lived. Their legacy is not carved in stone, but whispered through time, soft, enduring, and at peace. Kabuki, the performing art of Japan. Origin of Kabuki. Take a slow, deep breath in and let it drift out softly. The air feels calm and light, wrapping gently around you. Your thoughts begin to settle, floating like leaves on a quiet stream. In the stillness, time starts to blur, and we travel back to an ancient Japan where the sound of drums and the shimmer of silk awaken a new form of art. It is the early 17th century in Kyoto. The city breathes beneath lantern light, streets glowing softly in the dusk. Along the Kamo River, people gather, merchants, travelers, nobles, and wanderers, drawn by a rhythm they have never heard before, The faint pulse of a drum echoes through the evening air. Then a voice rises, clear and bold, breaking the silence of the night. At the center of it all stands a woman, Okuni. She is dressed in a striking costume, her movements graceful yet powerful. With a slow turn of the wrist, a measured step, and the sweep of her fan, she transforms the space around her. The crowd leans closer, captivated. Every gesture tells a story, every glance holds a secret. Her voice flows between laughter and sorrow, playfulness and grace. The performance feels alive, as if the air itself has begun to dance. This is the birth of kabuki. Not merely theatre, not simply dance, but a living fusion of drama, rhythm, and spirit. The stage becomes a world of its own, vibrant, unpredictable, full of life. Drums and shamisen weave together in perfect balance. Costumes shimmer in the torchlight. The performers move like waves, their emotions painted across the air. Okuni's art is daring, unrestrained, and unlike anything Japan has ever seen. It reflects the world around her, the laughter of marketplaces, the elegance of temples, the pulse of human desire. Her kabuki is not just entertainment, it is a mirror of the soul, a playful reflection of life's contradictions, joy and melancholy, illusion and truth. As the performance unfolds, night deepens, the audience sways with the rhythm, mesmerized. The flicker of firelight catches on Okuni's eyes as she spins, her shadow swirling with hers, part human, part spirit, part dream. When the music fades, the crowd lingers. They do not speak, they only breathe, still caught in the spell of what they've witnessed. Something has changed. In the air, in their hearts, in the shape of Japanese art itself. From that night in Kyoto, kabuki would grow beyond its small stage, evolving, shifting, surviving centuries of change. But even as time moved forward, the essence of that first performance, Okuni's courage, her creativity, her freedom, continued to echo softly, like the sound of a distant drum fading into the calm of the night. The era of wakashu kabuki. Take a gentle breath in and let it flow out slowly. The night is quiet. The air feels soft and still, and somewhere, far away in time, a stage is being lit by the golden glow of lanterns. The hum of a shamisen drifts through the air, steady, calming, like the slow beat of a heart. The world fades into rhythm, into movement, into kabuki. It is the early days after Okuni's time. The stage that once echoed with the laughter and grace of women has changed. A new law forbids them from performing, and so the art must transform to survive. The men step forward. Young, graceful, and poised, they take on every role. The heroes, the villains, and even the women. And from this necessity, something delicate and extraordinary is born. The wakashu, the young male actors, begin to shape a new form of kabuki, one that blends strength and softness, beauty and discipline. Their movements are precise, like poetry turned into motion. Every gesture carries weight. A flick of the wrist, a tilt of the head, a faint smile. Each one is studied, rehearsed, and perfected. The body becomes the language of emotion. In the glow of the stage lights, they move with a rhythm that feels both human and dreamlike. Their faces, painted in soft shades of white and red, shimmer like porcelain under the lanterns. The transformation is seamless. The audience forgets the boundary between male and female, between actor and character. What remains is pure expression, pure feeling. Behind each performance lies devotion. Endless hours spent learning how to breathe in harmony with the role, how to make silence speak as clearly as sound. The makeup, the costumes, the choreography, all come together to form a living tapestry of grace. Kabuki becomes not just performance but meditation, an art of control, of awareness, of presence. The audience watches in awe as emotion ripples across the stage, a gesture of sorrow, a glance of longing, a step that tells of courage or despair. There are no wasted movements, no empty moments, only the perfect balance between power and elegance. And as time drifts on, this style deepens. The Onagata, men who devote their entire craft to embodying women, emerge as masters of illusion. They study the subtleties of breath, of softness, of stillness. Through them, the art of kabuki becomes timeless, not bound by gender, but by beauty itself. When the curtain falls, the music fades, and the crowd exhales as if waking from a shared dream. The lanterns flicker. The night grows quiet again, yet the memory of the movement, the poise, the grace, it lingers soft as silk, carried through the centuries by the rhythm of kabuki's beating heart. The formation of style. Take a slow breath in and let it drift out softly. Feel the air move gently around you, calm and weightless. Your body begins to loosen, your thoughts settle, and the world grows quiet. In that quiet, a stage appears, a world of color and light, of movement and stillness. This is the heart of kabuki, where every breath, every sound, and every motion tells a story. As time passes, kabuki begins to evolve, to find its shape, its rhythm, its soul. From the same roots, two distinct styles bloom, arigoto and wagoto. Each one moves in its own way, yet together they hold the balance of the art, like day and night sharing the same sky. Arigoto rises first, bold, strong, and larger than life. It is the style of heroes and warriors, of thunderous energy and fearless spirit. The actors move with powerful gestures, their voices deep and resonant, their faces painted in vivid lines of red and black. Every movement feels charged with strength, each step echoing across the stage like the beat of a distant drum. It is the kabuki of storms, fierce, dynamic, full of life. Then, from the calm that follows, wagoto emerges, soft, fluid, and human. It speaks in quiet tones, in tender glances and subtle gestures. The characters here are lovers, poets, dreamers, people of emotion rather than battle. The movements are gentle, the voices smooth, the expressions warm. It is the kabuki of rivers, flowing, graceful, endlessly moving yet calm. These two styles mirror the balance within nature itself. Power and tenderness, energy and repose, fire and water. On the kabuki stage, they coexist in harmony, each defining and completing the other. When one thunders, the other soothes. When one burns, the other cools. Together, arigoto and wagoto become the twin heartbeats of kabuki. They give it contrast, color, and rhythm. The strength of the mountain, the softness of the breeze. The stage glows beneath their union, the actors breathing life into centuries-old tales through this delicate dance of opposites. As the curtain falls and the sound of the shamisen fades into silence, you can still feel the balance lingering, the pulse of power and the whisper of grace woven together like threads of silk, drifting gently through the quiet of the night. The actors of kabuki take a slow breath in and let it drift out softly, like the tide pulling gently away from shore. The air feels calm and light, wrapping around you with quiet warmth. Let your shoulders relax, your body sink into stillness, and your mind grow clear and open. In this quiet moment, the world fades, and a stage begins to glow in the soft light of lanterns. Here, in the heart of old Japan, the actors of kabuki move like living poetry. Their presence is both human and dreamlike, graceful, deliberate, timeless. To the audience, they are more than performers. They are symbols of beauty, elegance, and devotion. Figures who carry centuries of tradition in every motion of their hands. Each actor's life is a delicate dance between art and existence. On the stage, they become heroes, lovers, gods, or spirits, characters shaped by legend and imagination. Off the stage, they remain touched by those roles, their gestures and glances still carrying the rhythm of performance. The boundary between real and unreal dissolves until life itself becomes theatre, and theatre becomes life. Fans adore them deeply. Their faces are painted in woodblock prints, their names whispered in poems, their movements captured in songs. In every print, in every verse, there is admiration, not just for their skill, but for their presence. People look to them not only for entertainment, but for a glimpse of beauty made flesh, the grace that turns the ordinary into something eternal. When an actor walks through the streets of Edo, the crowd quiets. The faint rustle of silk, the steady calm of his step. Even these are part of the performance. His silence speaks as loudly as his lines on stage. His life is not divided into scenes. It flows as one continuous act of grace. In the theatre, under the dim glow of oil lamps, the actor takes his place. The shamisen hums, the curtain slides open, and time begins to slow. Every breath, every blink, every pause carries meaning. The audience watches, entranced, breathing in harmony with the rhythm before them. For these actors, kabuki is not a role to play. It is a way to exist. Their art does not end when the curtain falls. It lingers, like a note suspended in air, soft and endless. Costumes and the stage. Take a slow, deep breath in and let it drift out softly. Feel your body grow lighter, your thoughts quiet, your breathing smooth and calm. The world around you softens, and in that stillness a stage begins to glow beneath the soft light of lanterns. In kabuki, every costume is a story. Silk robes shimmer beneath the lamps, their colors chosen with care. Crimson for passion, indigo for sorrow, gold for strength. The fabric moves like water, folding and flowing with every gesture. Embroidered cranes, waves, and blossoms whisper through the threads, each pattern carrying its own meaning. Nothing is random. Every color, every fold is part of the tale. The actor steps into the costume not just to wear it, but to become it. The robe breathes with him, alive in motion, as though the spirit of the character has been woven into the cloth itself. When he turns, the fabric follows like a soft breeze, gliding across the stage in perfect harmony with sound and rhythm. The stage, too, is alive. Slowly it turns, a circular motion that feels like time itself unfolding. Shadows dance along the painted screens, the glow of lanterns flickers like twilight. Every movement is measured, unhurried, balanced with quiet grace. There is no rush, no sharp edge, only flow. As the stage revolves, the world transforms. Scene becomes dream, and dream becomes stillness. In the silence between music and motion, kabuki breathes, soft, elegant, eternal. Memory and legacy. Take a deep breath in and let it drift out slowly. The air feels soft and weightless, wrapping you in stillness. Your mind begins to quiet, like ripples fading across calm water. Time seems to slow, and in that gentle pause, the memory of kabuki awakens. Through the centuries, it has endured, not as something frozen in time, but as something alive, breathing softly through each generation. The sound of the shamisen still hums in darkened theatres, the steady rhythm echoing through polished wooden floors. The gestures, the colours, the quiet power of movement, they remain the same, unchanged, yet always new. Each performance carries the past within it. The actors move with the grace of memory, their bodies speaking the language of those who came before. The costumes shimmer under warm light, the music weaves through the air, and for a moment, time folds upon itself. The old and the present becoming one. Kabuki lives in this quiet balance. It is not only art, but remembrance, the soft breath of tradition, passed from hand to hand, voice to voice, heart to heart. Even when the stage grows silent and the lanterns dim, something lingers. The rhythm, the stillness, the beauty, all remain in the air, like the faint scent of incense after prayer. Kabuki is more than a performance. It is memory itself. Calm, timeless and eternal, breathing gently through the spaces where history meets dream. Spanish bullfighting. The origins of bullfighting. Take a slow, deep breath in and let it flow out gently. Feel the air glide through you, soft and steady, like the quiet rhythm of a distant song. The world feels slower now, calmer, and with each breath, you drift a little further from the noise of the present, back through time to the roots of an ancient ritual. Long before it became a spectacle, bullfighting was a dance, a meeting between man and beast under the wide, sunlit sky. In the old arenas of the Roman world, crowds gathered to watch strength meet grace, wildness meet courage. The bull, powerful and untamed, stood as a symbol of nature itself, raw, beautiful, unstoppable. The human, smaller yet composed, stepped forward not to destroy but to engage, to understand, to find balance in the storm. Over time, the roughness faded, the violence softened into art. What remained was not battle, but movement, the slow, deliberate rhythm of a dancer facing a force greater than himself. Every gesture, every turn of the wrist, every breath became part of a silent conversation. It was no longer about domination, but about harmony, a fragile equilibrium between danger and dignity. The arena became a stage of sunlight and dust, of color and sound. The red cape moved like flame, the bull's breath rose like smoke. The rhythm of footsteps, the shimmer of costume, the curve of motion, all blended into a choreography of life and mortality. People watched not for blood, but for beauty. For the moment when courage met stillness. For the brief flicker of grace that passed between two living beings who shared the same earth, the same breath, the same moment in time. In that space of tension and peace, of power and surrender, the origins of bullfighting became something more than sport. It became art, ancient, solemn, and endlessly human. The age of the knights. Take a long, slow breath in and let it drift out softly. Feel your body grow light, your thoughts begin to settle, and your heart find its calm rhythm. The air feels warm, touched by the golden glow of memory. In the distance, a wide plain stretches beneath a pale sky, and the sound of hooves begins to echo through time. It is the age of knights, a world of armor, grace, and quiet courage. The bullfight, once raw and untamed, has become an art of discipline. The rider sits high upon his horse, motionless yet alive with focus. His armor glints beneath the sun, his hands steady on the reins. Every breath, every movement, every heartbeat aligns with the rhythm of his steed. Together they move as one, not in haste, but in harmony. The bull enters the arena, its breath rising like mist in the afternoon light. It is powerful, alert, yet calm. The crowd holds its breath, not in fear, but in reverence. There is no shouting, no chaos, only the slow unfolding of balance. The horse circles gracefully, the rider's eyes steady, his gestures small, controlled, precise. He guides through silence, through instinct, through trust. In this ritual, there is no anger, no violence, only communication. The air hums with stillness. The hooves press into the earth, the wind moves through manes and banners, and for a moment, the world feels suspended between tension and peace. Each turn is deliberate, each pause feels eternal. The bull lowers its head, the horse shifts ever so slightly, and the rhythm continues. Calm, measured, endless. The scene becomes a painting in motion, a poem written in dust and sunlight. When the final circle is drawn, the crowd exhales as one. The rider bows his head, the bull stands proud, and the arena falls into silence once more. What remains is not triumph, but serenity, the quiet grace of man and creature sharing the same breath beneath the same sky. From the people to the matador. Take a slow, gentle breath in and let it drift out softly, like the wind over a quiet plain. The air feels warm, the sun low and golden, and the sound of distant bells fades into stillness. Time slows, and the arena appears, a wide circle of dust and light, calm beneath the open sky. As centuries passed, the noble riders gave way to the people. The crowds no longer watched from afar. They stepped down into the ring themselves. The bullfight was no longer a sport for knights or kings, but a dance for those who carried courage in their own hands. From the heart of the villages came the matadors, the dancers of danger, the poets of motion. They did not fight with force, but with rhythm. Each movement was measured, each gesture deliberate. The red cape flowed like liquid fire, shifting gently with the bull's breath. It was not battle, but a dialogue. Two beings circling each other in quiet understanding. Every turn, every pause, every moment of stillness became part of the performance. The matador's eyes held calm. His body moved like music, balanced between grace and gravity. Around him, the crowd watched in silence, entranced not by violence, but by the beauty of control. What unfolded before them was not chaos, but choreography, a slow, sacred dance between life and strength. As the sun dipped lower, the sand shimmered like gold. The matador stood, still and composed, the air heavy with quiet awe. It was not victory that lingered in the arena, but reverence, for courage, for artistry, for the fragile harmony that exists when movement becomes meaning and silence becomes song. The art of the arena. Take a deep, soft breath in and let it drift out slowly. Feel the body grow lighter, the chest expand, the mind loosen its grip. The world grows still, and in that stillness, the image of an ancient arena begins to form. Round, golden, open beneath a wide blue sky. The air hums with quiet warmth. Dust rises gently from the ground as the breeze moves across the circle. The walls of the arena curve like an embrace, holding both silence and expectation within them. Here, time slows. The sound of distant bells fades, replaced by the steady rhythm of breathing. The calm before the dance begins. The bulls, raised with care and dignity, are strong yet elegant. Their movements are measured, deliberate, almost regal. They are not creatures of chaos, but of grace, their muscles shaped by the earth, their spirit by the wind. Every step they take feels heavy with meaning, every pause filled with calm power. The matador steps forward into the light. Around him, the audience waits, silent and still. The sand beneath his feet glows faintly under the sun, soft and warm. He lowers his hand, tilts his head, and time stretches, long, unbroken, and serene. In this circle, there is no rush, no sound of violence, only rhythm, flow, and the breath of two beings moving as one. The arena becomes a temple of stillness, where art is born from control and beauty from balance. The crowd exhales together, slowly, reverently. The dust settles, the light softens, and what remains is peace, the lingering echo of movement fading into quiet, like the final note of a song dissolving into air. Symbol and legacy. Take a slow, deep breath in, and let it drift out gently, like wind passing over quiet fields. The air feels soft, still, almost golden. The sound around you fades until only your heartbeat remains. Slow, steady, peaceful. In this calm, an image takes shape, an open arena, warm light spilling across the sand, and silence resting heavy after motion. Bullfighting, in all its beauty and contradiction, has long stood as a symbol, not of violence, but of courage, rhythm, and restraint. It is the art of balance, of two forces meeting in understanding. The matador's calm composure, the bull's powerful grace, together they form a living painting of strength, meeting stillness. Every gesture becomes sacred, every pause deliberate, every heartbeat a quiet echo of bravery. When the performance ends, there is no sound. The crowd does not cheer immediately, they breathe. The dust settles slowly back onto the arena floor. The bull lies still, the matador lowers his head, and a wave of silence fills the air. A silence that holds respect rather than victory. The sand is raked smooth again, the marks of the dance erased, the circle restored to calm. Nothing remains of the moment except memory. A faint trace in the air, a rhythm carried in the hearts of those who watched. Through centuries, this ritual has endured, not as celebration, but as reflection, a quiet recognition of human courage, discipline, and grace. Beneath the sunlight and the stillness, bullfighting remains what it has always been, a story of control, beauty, and fleeting life, fading gently into silence like the last breath of a song. Ancient Irish hospitality laws. The duty of hospitality. Take a slow, gentle breath in, and let it drift out softly like the sound of wind through open fields. The air feels calm, the world quiet. Your body begins to settle, your thoughts loosen, and everything grows warm and still. In that peace, a scene unfolds. Soft green hills, the faint smoke of a hearth, and a small house waiting with its door slightly open. In ancient Ireland, when a traveller appeared at the edge of the land, the household stirred into motion. There was no hesitation, no question. To welcome a guest was not an act of kindness, but a duty, a sacred rhythm passed down through generations. The fire was stoked, the hearth brightened, bread warmed on the table. Water was poured for washing, blankets were unfolded, and a place to rest was prepared before a single word was spoken. Hospitality was more than custom, it was the soul of honor. A host's worth was measured not by wealth or title, but by the comfort they offered to a stranger. Food, drink, and shelter were gifts freely given, tokens of respect for the shared thread of humanity that bound all people together. The guest, too, entered with grace, not to demand, but to accept. In the quiet exchange between host and visitor, trust bloomed. The home became a sanctuary, the night a space of peace. Outside, The wind moved softly through the grass. Inside, warmth and silence filled the air. This simple act of offering, of receiving, was a law deeper than words. It reminded everyone that life, like a journey, is gentler when shared. And in that truth, hospitality became not just a gesture, but a way to keep the spirit calm, kind, and everlasting. The Brehon Law. Take a deep, slow breath in and let it drift out quietly. Feel the calm spread through your shoulders, your chest, your hands. The air feels soft, the world unhurried, as if time itself is breathing beside you. In the hush of the evening, imagine an ancient land, mist over green hills, a small circle of people gathered near a fire, their voices steady and calm. In Ireland long ago, laws were not written on paper nor guarded by kings. They lived in memory, carried by the Brehons, wise judges who spoke softly but with weight. Their words flowed like water, gentle yet unbroken, passing from one generation to the next. These laws were not meant to punish but to balance, to keep harmony among neighbors, families, and strangers. Every act of daily life was touched by these rules: how long a guest could stay, what foods should be shared, how one should speak, how one should part. All was guided by custom. Justice was not a matter of power, but of fairness. No prison walls, no iron bars, and only honor, and the quiet understanding that to live well was to live justly. The Brehon law taught that peace came from respect, not fear. When a dispute arose, it was settled not with anger, but with calm words and listening hearts. A fine might be paid, an apology offered, and harmony restored. And so, under open skies and soft rain, the law continued, unspoken yet known, invisible yet strong. It was not merely a system, but a rhythm of life, reminding everyone that the truest order is found not in control, but in the gentle balance between kindness and truth. Meals and rituals. Take a slow, gentle breath in and let it drift out, soft as the sound of rain on grass. Feel your body unwind, your shoulders growing lighter, your thoughts quieting into calm. The world fades to a softer hue. A gentle twilight, cool air, the faint glow of firelight flickering through an old Irish hall. In the heart of the room, a table waits. The scent of warm bread, honey, and ale fills the air. Wooden bowls rest neatly in rows, each one a quiet gesture of care. Food was never just sustenance here. It was an offering, a reflection of respect and belonging. Every meal was both necessity and ceremony, bound by law and custom, shaped by centuries of gentle rhythm. The order of serving followed quiet understanding. The chief and honored guests sat first, their places marked not by pride, but by ancient courtesy. The farmers, the travelers, the poets, each had their place, each received their portion. Nothing was rushed. Each motion was deliberate. Food was shared slowly, conversation soft and steady, like the rhythm of waves against the shore. There were no grand speeches, no demands for attention. Silence carried meaning as surely as words, a glance, a nod, a shared smile across the table. These were enough to convey gratitude, friendship, and peace. The act of eating together became a form of binding families, strangers, and communities through quiet connection. Outside, the night stretched vast and still. The wind brushed over the hills, and inside the fire crackled softly. The meal continued, unhurried, timeless, a ritual as simple as it was sacred. When it ended, there was no applause, only the calm satisfaction of shared presence, the warmth of full hearts and steady breath. In that simplicity lay something eternal, the reminder that even in the smallest act, breaking bread, offering a seat, sharing silence, humanity finds its gentlest strength. A meal, when given freely, becomes not just nourishment for the body, but peace for the soul. The protection of the guest. Take a deep, gentle breath in and let it slip out slowly, soft as mist across a quiet valley. Feel your body grow heavier, the tension melting from your shoulders, from your chest, from your hands. The air feels warm, still and kind. Somewhere in the distance, a fire glows beneath a thatched roof, its light pulsing like a heartbeat. In the ancient lands of Ireland, to step across the threshold of a home was to enter safety. The moment a guest crossed the door, they were no longer a stranger. The laws of the land, older than ink, older than kings, wrapped around them like a soft cloak. No harm could touch them here. Their well-being became the duty of the host, as sacred as breath itself. The home was simple. Wooden beams, the faint scent of earth and smoke, the rhythm of a hearth crackling low. The guest would be offered a seat, a drink, a moment to rest. No questions were asked, no names required. The first gift was always peace, a silence shared between souls, unbroken and calm. The host's care extended beyond food and shelter. It was a promise of protection, a bond of honor. Should danger approach, the host would stand between it and the guest, bound by the quiet strength of tradition. For in this world, hospitality was not a courtesy. It was law, ancient and gentle, holding the community together like invisible thread. Outside, the night deepened, wind brushing softly against the walls. Inside, warmth spread, not only from the fire, but from the simple comfort of being safe, of being seen. To offer refuge was to affirm humanity itself, a quiet truth whispered through centuries that kindness is shelter and shelter is peace. And so, under the calm Irish sky, every door that opened in welcome became a small light against the dark. Reflections of 4 ancient worlds. Take a deep, slow breath in, and let it drift out gently, like a wave retreating from the shore. Feel the body soften, the thoughts loosen, the edges of the world blur into stillness. The night is calm, the air is soft, and everything around you begins to fade into a peaceful rhythm, the rhythm of time itself. 4 stories from 4 ancient civilizations. 4 ways in which humanity sought harmony, beauty, and balance. Though distant in space and time, they share a quiet pulse, the desire to bring meaning to life through grace, order, and connection. In the forbidden city of China, life was lived within walls of silence and precision. Every step, every gesture, every glance was bound by ritual. Beneath the golden roofs and crimson gates, serenity hid behind discipline. The palace was a world of delicate control, a place where beauty was not shouted but whispered through movement, fabric, and poise. To exist, there was to move in harmony with rules as old as the empire itself, to find peace within boundaries and stillness within form. In Japan, on the wooden stages of kabuki, the silence became sound and control became rhythm. The dancers and actors carried emotion not through words, but through motion. Each turn, each breath, deliberate and filled with meaning. The music flowed like water, the costumes shimmered like dawn. Through performance, life was transformed into art, a reflection of human emotion expressed in perfect balance between energy and calm. In Spain, under the bright sun and open sky, the dance continued, this time between man and creature. The bullfight was never truly about conquest. It was about composure. about grace in the face of strength. Each slow step of the matador, each careful movement of the bull, mirrored the eternal dance between courage and control, life and death, presence and release. The arena glowed with silence and awe, where discipline became beauty. And then, far to the west, across soft green fields, stood Ireland, a land of warmth and welcome. Here, beauty was not in performance or precision, but in kindness. To open one's door, to share food and shelter, was to honor the essence of humanity. Hospitality was not law imposed by kings, but by conscience, a reminder that peace begins in the simple act of care. Each of these worlds moved to its own rhythm, slow, deliberate, timeless. Together they whisper the same truth, that life, in all its forms, becomes art when lived with grace. So now, as you rest, let these stories settle like soft dust upon the mind. Let their calm fill the spaces within you. The night deepens, your breath slows. The world fades into quiet. Sleep well, for even in dreams, history hums, steady, gentle, eternal.